Hello, this is Tomelis, and today I'm going to talk about managing crisis projects. So, in first place, crises cannot always be foreseen or prevented, but when they occur, we must do everything possible to manage them effectively. We must also identify the lessons learned and best practices so that mistakes are not repeated on future crises that will certainly occur. So today's case is about Johnson's and Johnson's case, that is the parent of Tylenol, and basically how they handled the situation in such a manner that it became the standard for crisis management. So there are a series of questions about this case that I'll be answering today. The first question is, when a crisis project occurs, who should be the leader of the crisis team? Well, for me on crisis projects, the executive project sponsor will be more like actively involved and may end up like performing as the project manager as well. And also a crisis committee should be formed and composed of the senior most levels of management according to Gerstner. And the second question is, will there be a crisis committee or a crisis project sponsor? Well, the thing is that for me, it will be a crisis committee because the project sponsor should function as a corporate spokesperson responsible for all crisis communications. The third question is, how important is effective communication during a crisis? Well, strong communication skills are therefore mandatory, and the thing is that an open and honest communication is essential in every project in order to succeed. The fourth question is, how important is stakeholder relations management during a crisis? Well, the thing is that managing stakeholders with competing demands is essential because if you don't have like the right control over the stakeholder during a crisis, probably the project will fail. So that's the reason why it's so important. The fifth question is, should a company immediately assume responsibility for a crisis? My answer is yes, because the company must assume the responsibility for its products and services and also for its involvement in the crisis, just like Johnson and Johnson's did. The sixth question is, how important is response time when a crisis occurs? Well, the company must act quickly and with sincerity, and also corporate creators can shorten the response during a crisis. And basically, a crisis management requires like a heads up approach with a very quick reaction time combined with a concerted effort on the part of possibly all employees. I mean, for this, it's like a team effort. Everyone should be working on the same for the same goal in order to succeed during a crisis. The seventh question is, how important is it to show compassion for people that may have been injured? Well, in this case, the company, specifically the project sponsor, must appear at the scene of the crisis and demonstrate a sincere compassion for the families of those injured. And also the company must display like a social consciousness as well as a sincere concern from people, especially the victims and their families, just like in this case the CEO did, and all the media was very receptive, and even people. The eighth question is, how important is it to maintain a paperwork trail? Well, it is so important because companies are going to have the exact information to handle similar crises, just like this company did. And it was probably the key factor to succeed and not fail like the other cases that were discussed in this chapter. So the last question is, how important is it to capture lessons learned? Well, the thing with lessons learned is that they mandate that companies learn not only for their own crisis, but also from how others handle crisis too. And learning from the mistakes of others, it's probably better than learning from one's own mistakes, I think. According to Blush, the most important lessons to learn for leading during crisis are the early warning signs, the way to face reality, being prepared. It's probably like one of the best lessons learned. Being realistic, but also optimistic, responding appropriately to the media because they can help you to maintain your company's status, and how the company can contain a crisis when they cannot prevent it, because not all crises can be prevented, like I said before. So in conclusion, just like Gessner said, when a crisis occurs, they assign the project manager because they may need to communicate with stakeholders that previously were of minor importance, such as the media and the government agencies, and all of whom may have competing interests. These competing interests mandate that the project manager understands stakeholder needs and objectives, and also possess strong communication skills, conflict resolution skills, and negotiation skills. Well, that's it for today. Thank you.